Good morning, Colby College, RMS University, Texas, and Ms. Lutz's class. This is Ms. Studer out here with your Red Fox Report. So I'm going to move a little bit and let you see behind me. That's my trail. Looks a little difficult. But you can see I'm in here, and I'm not wet, and I'm not covered with snow. How did I do that? Well, when I'm out here in the wintertime, and in the summer too, it's really easy to see the deer trails. And really, if you want to move quickly and efficiently through the woods, follow the deer. They know what they're doing. They're not wasting energy. Think about every time that deer moves. How many acorns did it take for that energy, for that deer to move? You and I, we sit down to meals at a table. Well, I sit down to a meal at a table. I hear that's not so common anymore. But I don't worry so much about where my food is coming from. And I don't have to think about my movement on the landscape in terms of how much I have to eat. I have plenty of food in my backpack. But if you're an animal living out here, and if you're a big animal like a deer or a moose, as the snow increases, the amount of energy needed to move through the landscape increases. And so if you really want to find good ways through the woods in the winter, follow the deer trails because they are using the least amount of energy to get where they're going. So when you look behind me here and you see this, think about the energy to go through there. Think about the kind of energy it would take for me to move through this. And it's not so bad here. This isn't too bad. I can kind of go around. But then up here, this is getting kind of hard. And out here, whoa, now I'm in the middle of all this. Gosh, you can't even see me anymore. This would be really hard to move through. I would be really snowy. I would be really wet. But I didn't take that trail. I didn't. I took the one right beside it. I took this trail right down here. I'll bring you up to it so you can see it, so you can see how far away I was when I did this. This trail right here. These tracks right here. This track. Look at those dew claws right there. Nice footprint right there, huh? Yeah, right there. Oh. The deer know what they're doing. They're no fools. So you got to think about what deer are eating this time of year. They're not allowed to eat here. So first of all, a lot of people think deer eat grass. Yeah, they don't eat much grass at all. There's almost no nutrition in grass. They eat buds. They eat the seed heads of the grass. They eat a lot of leaves of things. They eat certain berries off of certain plants. Big acorn eaters. They really like acorns, and I'm actually heading towards an oak tree I'm hoping is still here. There's been some logging down here because they like to paw around underneath it looking for acorns. And we had a pretty heavy mast year, so there's a lot of acorns. Heavy mast. Mast is the hard nut that comes out of any tree. So we had a really good hard mast year for acorns for sure. So those deer are not hibernating, but their digestive system literally changes in the winter and it slows down and they don't have to eat as much and their body's metabolism has changed to start slowly working on using some of the energy from the fat that they gathered over the fall when all of those acorns were really visible and easy to eat. And there were a lot of mushrooms around, and they just eat a wide variety of high protein sources right in the fall, like so many other species. And then they eat hardly anything throughout the winter, like they eat these little buds, and there's not a lot here for them. So consequently, they spend the least amount of energy in movement. Now, they don't move a lot in the winter, and once the snow gets deep, they'll yard up. But that hasn't happened yet. The snow isn't real deep. We're at the beginning of the season. It's not time to yard up. In fact, it's still pretty warm out. I'm not even in my big winter coat anymore. It's about 35 degrees out here, and it's going to rain. So, yeah, they're not yarded up yet. They're still moving around. And once the rain comes, they'll get in underneath all of these hemlocks, bed down, wait for the rain to go away, and then they'll go out and find out like what's been exposed for food. They'll be heading for those oak trees. They'll be heading for those places that they know there's food, because there's not a lot of time left for them to be able to have access to that. And once that access is completely gone and we have feet of snow, they yard up and hang out together in these big groups, mostly does and their youngers. And the bucks hang out in groups together. They're like the young buck group. It's kind of funny. So you have the aunties and the children and the young bucks. And then the older bucks just like are off on their own. They don't interact with pretty much anything. They don't even do the same kind of marking signs. They're older and wiser. They've learned how to be scarce. And in fact, if you talk to people around here, we're often surprised there are any bucks because we never see them. You see the does and they're young all the time, and you see young bucks quite a bit. But those old ones, man, they're hidden for a reason, you know? If everybody's out to get you, hide. So anyway, this has been kind of a long red fox report, giving you some information about deer and ways to move through the forest. I hope that you have had a really good time in this snow, and I hope you have a great week of remote learning. And look for those deer paths. They're the shortest way through the forest. This is Ms. Studer with your Red Fox Report. Ugh.